This conference will now be recorded.
You tell me, guys, what is a REST and what is SOAP? Anybody idea? REST and SOAP are different web services. So when you want to transfer the data from one application to another application, so very frequently we are following REST and SOAP integration. REST and SOAP are two different interfaces to communicating the third-party application to transfer the data or communicate each other or manipulating the data. For example, I have created one incident ticket. Same incident ticket should be replicated to other third-party application like a Jira. Before ServiceNow, my company used only like a Jira. Still, the people are following Jira also. 50% clients are using ServiceNow, 50% clients are using Jira still. So when created one incident ticket in ServiceNow, same ticket can replicate it to Jira also. When customer created any record in incident record in Jira, same record can replicate it to ServiceNow also. That is called integration. Integration can determine transfer the data between two systems or two applications. That is called integration. So in the integration, what are the web services we are using very frequently? One is a SOAP, it's a universal web services. Second one is a SOAP. Maximum we are using only like a REST, not SOAP. REST is nothing but always best practice to integrating the data, like integrating third-party application. Before we start working with REST, what is a REST? A REST is nothing but representational state transfer. A representational state transfer. What is a SOAP? Simple object access protocol. Simple object access protocol is a one more application. A clear guess. So one more like a web services like a SOAP. Sometimes they're asking interview also what is the difference between REST and SOAP. You can just Google it. REST and SOAP. You can follow the documentation. So REST and SOAP are two different approaches online data transfer. Especially both define how to build the application program interface. API, REST API. What does it mean by API? Application programming interface. What is the REST? A representational transfer protocol, like a transfer. So when you are going to transfer the data through specific program interface, so specific program through different interface, that is called integration. So which will allow to data be communicated between web applications. A representational state transfer REST is a set of architectural principles, and SOAP is nothing but simple object access protocol. Is an like a official protocol maintained by the World Wide Web construction, like a consortium, like W3C. The main difference is that SOAP and protocol, the REST is not. API will be adhered to either the REST and SOAP, both are the same. APIs are the same, but interface will be different. So request and response both will be comfortable in REST, and will be able to get in a request. You can be able to send in REST like a JSON format. A response also you will get in JSON format. But SOAP only it can be supporting XML, not supporting any JSON. So REST and SOAP are depending on the use case and preferences of the developer. So REST is nothing but representation state transfer. Remaining we can follow the documentation, guys, to get more information. So REST is nothing but supporting variety of formats: HTML, XML, plain text, and JSON. Out of these all, JSON is always recommended in best practice. And it's a favorite as the message format because it can be read by any programming language very easily. It's a universal language. Every system can be able to understanding the JSON format and can be able to convert it to very easily. An application is said to be RESTful is a follow 6 architectural guidelines. A client server architecture composed a client server resources. Stateless client server communication, and other things. Okay, if you want to explore more into that rest and SOAP, you can follow the documentation. Maximum not required. So web service description language, say a WSL file, so I can show you practically. Okay, and now I'm going to move to REST API Explorer. ServiceNow platform. In this case, I'm not going to using any REST API like interface. ServiceNow platform is going to providing REST API Explorer by default in system itself. REST API and go to REST API Explorer. REST API Explorer, we can consider it's a third-party application. In this case, I'm not going to create or update, read, and delete the records from not UI. Just let assume I am going to be creating, reading, updating, deleting from third-party application. That is called REST API Explorer. And click on Explore. And namespace always you can keep it now. And we have different API names: table API, aggregation API, and ATF agent, application services, and mobile studio, and mobile debugger, related list, reporting API, studio global. So many default APIs are there. At this moment, I have selected start working with table API, and API version is always you can start the latest one. Before we start working with table API, first of all, you would like to know what is table API. So table API will be allowed to performing some code operations in existing record. So when you want to create record or updating existing record, read some data queries and delete the records, always we can use REST API Explorer. So what other REST API methods are there? It's a universal, like a unique method, standard methods. Please try to do like a remember these all standard HTTP methods: get method, post method, put method, patch method, delete method. So how can you create a new record through REST API? Click on that create. Someone don't have the permission to create incident ticket directly in UI. In this case, they can use REST API Explorer. They will be create a new incident ticket. So where you want to create an incident ticket, the table you can select that maybe incident, problem, change, etc. Any table you can select over here. And the remaining parameters I don't want to select. Scroll down and come to requested body. So we are going to requesting to creating new record into incident table. In this case, we have to add the fields. So what are the field values you want to fulfill? Caller. So when you're selecting that caller, we have to fulfill like caller ID. It won't accept any names. Anyway, no problem. Caller is Fred Laddie. And a short description. Creating new record through script. Just I am going to fulfill only two field values. If you want to fulfill more field values, you can fulfill, no problem. Okay, now this is like XML format. XML format is not like a so request and response both will be. I want support for JSON. Yes, already selected JSON right by default, and then you can send it and click on OK. So this is called endpoint URL. Endpoint URL. So this post method, right? I have used post method to create incident ticket. This is the endpoint URL. So when Jira developer, Jira administrator, they want creating new incident ticket in incident table through REST API. So they have to use this REST API Explorer. Where we are going to creating incident ticket, https:// in real case, so we don't have any development ID here. Domain.servicenow.com API ServiceNow table is incident. It's a endpoint URL. This is called endpoint URL. This endpoint URL we can use it like you can share to the third-party user, they can use and try to fulfill the requirement. And so we have different REST API codes. Don't try to remember. You can remember the 4 to 5 codes. REST API codes. So 201 is created, indicate that the request has been succeeded and a new resource has been created as a result. Okay, so new record has been created, right? REST API. I have created one more incident ticket, not from UI. I have created incident ticket to REST API Explorer.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
This is breaking. Just a second. Now, okay, can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So 201 can be defining we have successfully created one incident ticket into incident table. And meanwhile, you will get response body also. So this is about response body. So what are the fields you are submitted? All the details also we can see over here. And record number 56. Let me take one more duplicate tab. Already taken, right? Navigate to instance table. Let me check whether the record is created or not. Yes, creating new record through scripting. REST API, right? Creating new record through scripting. Okay, while submitting this record, so customer is not submitted some mandatory fields. In this case, I want to stop it. So what you can do in this case, guys? Do you remember that?
Data policy.
Data policy. Yes, we have to implement data policy. Raviteja, ACL topic is not covered. Raviteja, ACL already yesterday covered, right? Access control list. I think you did not attend the class. You can follow the recording, please. Okay, successfully I have created incident ticket. So when you want to update the record through REST API Explorer, in this case, we have to provide the details. How to update the record? Go to put method, modify record, and table name is incident, and the sys ID. So which record you want to update? That record sys ID we can copy it. You can take this sys ID. So the person who is already created this incident ticket, same person try to update the record as well through REST API Explorer. And the same text body, click on add field. And which one you want to update? Short description. I want to update. Updating this record through REST API. And if you want to fulfill more fields, you can be able to fulfill more fields also. Impact is 1. I want to make it critical 1. Urgency, urgency also 1. I click on send. Okay, so this is about REST API Explorer. Here I'm going to updating the record. So I'm using put method https:// this is the endpoint URL. This endpoint URL we have to sent to third-party customer. They can use this endpoint URL and to communicate in like a service instance, update the record from third-party like so 200. Okay, so 200 status code can be defining indicates that the request has been succeeded, means successfully we have updated the record. And meanwhile, you'll be able to get the response body also, which field value you are updating this record through REST API Explorer. Let me open it. Just you can reload the browser. Okay, so updating this record through REST API. And now I want to delete this record through REST API Explorer. How can you delete it? And in this case, you can select the another HTTP method is delete and select incident table, which table record you want to delete. That's the you will get it right. And part 4, you will get part 4 status code. So when you will get part 4 like a status code that can be determined, there is no content, it's empty. Let me check in UI and reload the browser. Record is not found, right? So this is the way how to create, like update, delete the records. Now I'm going to show how to get the records applying my different queries. And go to get method, and here we can apply the condition. Which records we want to update? Table name is incident. Okay, here you can apply the condition. So when I click on that send, you will get the okay, all the records data. Only getting single record data, right? Because system limit is only one, right? That's why you're getting only one record. In real case, you can be able to extend it to multiple records, but developer instance maximum we can get only records data as a response. Select 10 and run, send it. You will get only 10 records data. Okay, some unnecessary data I don't want to show in response code. I don't want to see some unnecessary data in my response code. How can you remove those all unnecessary tags and data from table? And here, so an encoded query. Suppose I'm going to apply the user filter the result. I want to get only priority one incidents and send it. So you will get only priority one incidents, right? And system underscore display value. So now this moment is displaying display value, right? Like what is that? Wait, just a second. Just a second. I want display the display value also. What is the state 2? State 2 is in progress. I want to display value also. And the impact 1 means urgency. 1 is actual value. Urgency like a high is like display value, but display value is not displaying. Similarly, priority also. That is 1 nothing but it's a critical. So when you want to display the display value, so we have to pass the parameter 2. Yes, I want to display the display value also. Send it. You will get display value for a better understanding, right? Progress, 1 high impact, priority critical. Okay, now I don't want display any reference record links. Suppose display value caller ID is referencing to reference table, right? That referencing table link is showing. I don't want show referencing links. I want to remove all the reference tags. How can you remove the reference tags? Excluded the reference tags. Send it and remove all the reference links, right? Remove all reference links. But I don't want to display all the records data. Some data I don't want showing. Okay. So comments, workouts I don't want show. Okay, which field values important field data I want to get it. In this case, how can you configure it? And C, go to sysparam comma separated list of fields to return the response. Only I want get number, the state, clarity, short description, column. Only these 5 details I want get whenever executing the query. And select it and send it. Okay. Okay, I'm getting only, so only if it is displaying the priority one tickets, almost 7 priority one tickets, like 15, 16, 17, displaying number, short description, caller ID, state, and priority. Remaining details I don't want, get not required. And next one, I'm going to work with other parameter. So system limit is by default 10 only. In real case, you will get a number of records, then a kind of set limit. And to the suppress of the pagination header. Okay, so suppress is nothing but don't want maintain any spaces, like adjusting the columns and values, and like render the response according to the specified view or read by this is a new parameter I think. And this parameter query category. So if you want to apply any query, so name of the query category, replicate like a read replica category used for queries. These all are not required, maximum not using. And don't execute like execute the select count table, not required. And run it. So this is the endpoint URL which I have applying the condition. See, take the notepad. This is the endpoint URL. So this is the endpoint URL. Okay, so when third party customer they won't get these details from incident table, so we have to apply the condition in my incident table. So this endpoint URL they can say to the we can say to third party user. So third party user they can use this endpoint URL and try to connecting the our service of instance and get the result back. So this parameter like a limit is 10, right? If you want to change that, you can be able to change limit also. So this is about REST API Explorer and very easy to working with REST API Explorer. And meanwhile, so where we can use REST API Explorer, how third-party integration. For example, we can take one third-party application, and so like we can create the Jira, and so then we can implement like a Jira integration. Someone they can be able taking care about the integration. Clear guys up to now?
Sir, no need to write any code in REST API.
REST API maximum no need to write the code, and we have a scripted REST API also. Okay, so scripted REST API, if you want to write it any code, so you can go to the documentation. Don't write any code in manually. Okay, not required. Maximum 90% we're using only out of the box, and REST API Explorer is given by the company itself. Okay, but if you want to write the code, and go to REST API Explorer scripted REST API. That will depends on the requirement. Actually, one person cannot working in like integration part. Multiple departments have to working integration. Okay, guys. Okay, I'm going to end my class today. See you tomorrow.